Welcome to Made Podcast. If you're listening to this or if you're watching this on YouTube, I just want to give you a huge thank you. This podcast has been a long time coming. It's something I've wanted to do for so long, and by you being here, by you listening or watching, you are directly contributing to my dream coming true. So if there's one of you, 10, 1,000 of you, just thank you for being here, honestly. My name is Seth Alexander. I'm an entrepreneur and what I like to call a self-development addict. I've been into the self-development space for a very long time. I got into it when I was a kid, but I didn't start really taking it seriously until I was going through a pornography addiction and working through that. It was on that journey to the porn-free life that I got my first taste of real self-mastery and transformation. I changed so much of my life on that journey. I went from being a porn addicted, junk food eating, chronic party boy, working what was a dead end 9-to-5 job, to an entrepreneur who's generated hundreds of thousands of dollars through various endeavors and just different entrepreneurial pursuits. I cut out the drinking, I cut out the partying, and I've gotten my health to a place that I can finally be proud of. And just overall, I'm happy with the man that I've become and the man that I continue to become. Now, I am by no means where I want to be. I've got a lot of work to do, but my defining characteristic, I have two. The first one is that I'm always working to be the best version of myself. I'm always trying to maximize every facet of my experience and my potential. And number two, I'm obsessed with trying to help other people do the same for themselves. There's no really good way to explain it aside from it's like if you found gold and you found like it was like if you just do these few things, you'll find gold. You just want to tell other people how to do the same thing. And so I've been driven by that feeling of helping other people discover the gold within themselves for so long, which is why I had my YouTube channel and which is why I've now got this podcast. So I created the Made podcast for a couple of different reasons. I think the first most prominent one is that we as a society, we tend to be very outcome oriented, like so much so that we completely overlook the process. So what do I mean? We see LeBron James, Michael Jordan, we saw Kobe Bryant do some pretty tremendous things. And more often than not, we subconsciously create this divide between us and them without even really realizing it. It's like we think to ourselves, the success, the wins, the victories, the money, the glory, the wealth, all that stuff, we assume subconsciously that is reserved for other people, just not me. But that's so far from the truth. What we don't really realize is that these people, they're literally just like us. There's only one thing that separates us. And I'll tell you, it's not some invisible line that randomly selects successful people on this side and then the rest of you go to that side. No, the divide is this thing called the process. I like to define the process as the gap in your perception between where people like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant started and where they arrived. I'll say that again. The process is the gap in your understanding between where people started and where they arrived. Now, I don't know about you, but when I hear about how Kobe Bryant put in thousands of hours, extra hours, he worked out in practice before practice, during practice, after practice. Michael Jordan, he practiced after games. When I hear about all of that work that was done, it inspires me. I feel super, super inspired. And it reminds me, my very impatient self, that there's a process to things. And most times it is not a pretty process. Now, on this podcast, I don't want to just tell you that you can do it. I want to show you that you can do it. I want to show you through personal stories, through stories of the greats of our times. I just feel like the more you have an understanding of that gap, the middle part of the story, the more accessible your own personal success becomes, whatever success means to you. So this podcast, it'll have interviews with people who have done or are doing some pretty amazing things. I'll be sharing a lot of my own personal stories of some successes that I've had and how I got there, but also some of my own personal failures and setbacks, which there are plenty. And we're not going to just talk about my setbacks. We'll explore the setbacks of others, from people that you know about, but also people that you've probably never heard of. We're also going to be spending a lot of time having some really hard truth conversations about success and what it takes to get there. Because a lot of this stuff, the gap, the middle that I talked about, the part of the story we don't hear about, is pretty ugly. It's pretty heinous, and there is literally no point in sugarcoating it. You know, a lot of long, grueling, unseen hours of really hard work went into that game-winning basket of the NBA Finals that you saw Kobe hit, or that game-winning putt that Tiger Woods made, or Jeff Bezos' first $1 billion. A lot of stuff went into that, and for all of those monumental accomplishments and more, there was a process, and that's what this podcast is about. So, let's get into it. There will be new episodes of Made Podcast every Wednesday morning, wherever you get your podcasts, and right here on YouTube. You can find us across all socials at Made the Pod. That's Instagram and X, formerly known as Twitter. I look forward to chatting with you week after week and really starting to unveil the mess behind the mastery right here on Made Podcast. Thank you for being here. I'll see you next week.